Hi, I'm Asghar Husain, orthopedic surgeon. I'm going to show you 3 exercises for the shoulder that, at least to me, are a good warm-up for either an upper body strength program or even if you're recovering from an injury or a surgery along the way. So what you're trying to get out of this is to get the foundational muscles around the shoulder blade activated so you can do all the other things that you need to do. Many of the activities that we perform in life are overhead, and to really do those skillfully, it's been my observation that you really want to get those shoulder blade muscles working. So I'm going to keep it simple. I don't want to overcomplicate this, but if we look at the skeleton over here, we can see that the shoulder blade sits on the rib cage. So those muscles that I'm talking about are those that will wrap from the ribs and the spine, the upper and the thoracic spine, and wrap around the shoulder blade called the scapula, attach on the inside and on the outside over here as well too. And so ultimately what we're trying to get out of this is getting those muscles working with the muscles in the shoulder. We call that the rotator cuff. And the reason why, if you lift your arm up, there are a sequence of muscle activations that are happening that will rotate the shoulder blade and the shoulder at the same time. So when that is done properly, you have efficiency. So you can lift heavy weight. If it's done improperly, then what happens is the shoulder blade will tilt forward, and you can now either get pinching between the roof and the tissues inside, or you can use the shoulder in a way that's inefficient. So you're putting load at parts of the shoulder that are not ideally well tolerating that loading. So it's a bit like if you have 4 people lifting a heavy box and everybody's just doing whatever they want and the box is rolling back and forth versus doing it very efficiently. So the point of these exercises is to get these muscles activated in a way that as the arm is coming up, there is what we call co-activation, which means the muscles of the shoulder blade are firing just enough to lift the roof and keep the socket at just the right angle so that the muscles in the shoulder are working properly and not getting pinched. So these exercises are meant to be versatile, which means don't do these exactly as I'm showing you. Take the idea and work with it. Work with it in a way that makes sense and is a bit more customized. The idea is you really want to feel these muscles in the upper back, pulling the shoulder blade back. We call that retraction, in a way that the arm can go wherever it needs to go, and whether you're lifting weight or just reaching for something on a shelf. So the first exercise is just on a wall. Very easy. And so you're going to come up against a wall, and then you're going to basically do a clock. So it's 12, 1, 2, 3, right? You can start at about 3 o'clock. And the idea is you want to come right up against the wall so that you're not tilting the shoulder forward inadvertently. And then you can slowly start bringing the arm out, and then you want to basically pull back. And you want to pull back. And what you want to feel is the muscles here in the mid back and the back of the shoulder co-activating. So it should feel almost like you're grabbing a pulley and pulling it back. Now the reason I don't like to do this on a pulley is because people have a tendency to lean the shoulder forward and curve the spine. So we want the spine relatively straight, air in the lungs, and you're pulling back, getting activation. Now you can start and make this really easy right here and just come back. Perhaps if you're recovering from an injury, then you can start going out more and then pulling back. You can start going up more. And when you do this, you should have no pain. You should be able to pull back and get that activation. That's a very, very simple way. You can go all around the clock, top to bottom, keeping your arm further out as you're evolving this activation exercise. When you're doing this, the idea is to go slow and really feel those muscles firing. So you don't really want to consider reps. What you're really trying to feel is, are you using these muscles in the upper back? So you want to really activate and hold, and you can let go. You can activate and hold and let go. So the second exercise is face down on the floor. And again, the idea is to get these upper back muscles activated, specifically the lower part, to really pull the shoulder blade back with the back part of the shoulder muscles, the rotator cuff muscles. So again, we can start all the way down here if we want. You can modify the position of the hand here. You can put a light weight, 2 pounds, 3 pounds, 5 pounds to make it a little bit more exciting. And again, the goal is not to lift a lot of weight. The goal is just activate those muscles. So you really want to pull the lower part of the shoulder blade muscles, not the upper part. We're not trying to shrug. We're trying to pull the lower part down. And then you can make this a little bit more stimulating. Bring your hands all the way out, just like the clock. 12, 3, 5, 6, and then slowly pull back, just like you're grabbing a pulley and just pulling back, trying to get all the muscles working together. You can make it a little more challenging by just reaching the arm up as you evolve this, slowly lifting it off, activating and holding, coming down, activating and holding. Again, you could do this with just the weight of your arm, and you should be able to feel those lower muscles in your shoulder blade activating as you go. So again, you could play with this, do it any way you want. The whole goal is to really try to get those shoulder blade muscles activated. You can add a weight if you want. So the final exercise, and actually my favorite, is a variation of the face pull, which was presented by Jeff Cavalier of Athlete X. And so I'm just going to give him credit for this. I just adapted it slightly to, again, give it a little bit more versatility. So again, the primary goal is get those shoulder blade muscles pulled back. So we're really trying to get the shoulder blade to go this way. We're not trying to shrug. For the starting position, you grab a pulley, you pull back an external rotation of the shoulder. That's move number 1. You hold it with the upper back muscles. You don't shrug. We're pulling down. You can feel those muscles there while you pull it back first. Then the second move is go all the way up, holding the tension in the upper back. And then you swing the arms down like a jumping jack. That's move number 3. Then all the way up to the top again, and then down into external rotation, and then release. So move number 1, shoulder external rotation, pinch your shoulder blades. Move number 2 is you're going to push up, right? And move number 3, all the way down like a jumping jack, all the way back up, number 4, and then 5 back in external rotation, and then release slowly. Here's imaging from the back. Move number 1, rotate the shoulders out, all the way up, number 2, number 3 down to the side, number 4 back up, and number 5 back in external rotation, and then return. For some variety, you can use a hip band, which is just above the knees. So when you grab the pulleys, you now have some muscle tension in the lower body, in the trunk. You have to have some trunk bracing. And now you pull back. There's a starting position, shoulder external rotation. You should feel that from top to bottom. Avoid shrugging. Really try to turn on the lower part of the scapula. Push up, number 2. Number 3, all the way down. You can even do these individually if you want, with individual pulleys. And I find this to be a really, really good way to get the whole posterior chain, which is all these muscles in the back of the upper body, and even the back of the lower body, and the trunk, to really get activated at the same time, which to me is good for anyone who's going to be doing any kind of overhead lifting or even any kind of an overhead sport.